Hi, this is Rhea, and welcome to Read, Repeat, Reflect. Today we're starting something I've been wanting to do for a long time, reading The Great Gatsby together. Not just reading, but really experiencing it. This novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald is one of those books everyone says they've read, but I think it deserves more than a quick skim in high school. The language is beautiful, the themes still cut deep, and honestly, it's a perfect book for listening and re listening. Every sentence rewards your attention. Let's begin with the opening lines, some of the most famous in American literature. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. Pause there for a moment. This is Nick Carraway speaking. He's our narrator for the entire story. He starts the novel with this memory of his father's advice. It shapes everything he sees and tells us. He's setting himself up as someone who reserves judgment, someone who listens. But here's the question: is he really non judgmental, or is he just telling himself that? Keep that in mind as we go. He didn't say anymore, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way. And I understood that he meant a great deal more than that. In consequence, I'm inclined to reserve all judgments, a habit that has opened up many curious natures to me and also made me the victim of not a few veteran bores. Unusually communicative in a reserved way. What a perfect phrase. It captures this rare kind of relationship between father and son. Not constant nagging or lectures, but a few words spoken once, casually even, that carry weight for a lifetime. There's something so valuable about that. A relationship where you don't need to say much because what you do say matters deeply. How rare is that? How precious? And notice Nick's awareness of the cost. Being non judgmental means people confide in you. The curious natures, yes, but also the veteran bores. He's already hinting that he's tired, that there's a burden to being the listener. The abnormal mind is quick to detect and attach itself to this quality when it appears in a normal person. And so it came about that in college I was unjustly accused of being a politician because I was privy to the secret griefs of wild, unknown men. Most of the confidences were unsought. Frequently, I have feigned sleep, preoccupation, or a hostile levity when I realized by some unmistakable sign that an intimate revelation was quivering on the horizon. This line always makes me smile. Nick is definitely judging here, right? Calling others abnormal while considering himself normal. And that image, feigning sleep to avoid someone's confession, that's so human. Fitzgerald is setting up the central irony from line 1. Nick claims he reserves judgment, but his very language is full of judgment. And that's not a criticism, it's just honest. We're all like this. Reserving judgments is a matter of infinite hope. I am still a little afraid of missing something if I forget that, as my father snobbishly suggested, and I snobbishly repeat, a sense of the fundamental decencies is parceled out unequally at birth. A matter of infinite hope. What a beautiful, sad phrase. Notice he calls his father's advice snobbish and admits he's snobbish for repeating it. There's this thread of privilege from the very first page. The awareness that they've had advantages, but also this idea that some people are just born with better fundamental decencies. Nick is complicated, and that's why this book stays with you. And after boasting this way of my tolerance, I come to the admission that it has a limit. Conduct may be founded on the hard rock or the wet marshes, but after a certain point, I don't care what it's founded on. When I came back from the East last autumn, I felt that I wanted the world to be in uniform and at a sort of moral attention forever. I wanted no more riotous excursions with privileged glimpses into the human heart. And there we pause for today. Nick has just told us he reserves judgment, that he's tolerant, but now he's saying that tolerance has reached its limit. Something happened in the East. Something with Gatsby that shook him so deeply he wanted the whole world to stand at moral attention. This is the frame. Nick is telling us this story from the aftermath, already knowing how it ends. Next episode, we'll meet Tom and Daisy Buchanan and begin to understand what kind of world Nick stepped into that summer. Thanks for reading with me. This is Rhea, and remember, read, repeat, reflect.